Have you have you ever thought of how easy it is to forget about something, even something very important? That's what today's episode will be setting up for all of next week on the Life Given podcast. I'm Isaac Lopez. So, welcome back to the show. Today's episode is going to be pretty short and to the point, but it's all about priming you for next week. As per the introduction to this episode, I wanted to touch on something that has been swept under the rug for the last 3 years. The Department of Justice refuses to deliver any kind of judgment on Planned Parenthood. Surely you remember 5 years ago how when David Dalladin and the Center for Medical Progress came out with multiple videos on Planned Parenthood, it made the news everywhere. But we haven't really seen anything come of it until recently, a splash in headlines saying that Planned Parenthood officials admit under oath that they have been selling baby body parts. Let's take a deeper look into that, shall we? Here's a little video clip that I would like to play for you to kind of set the stage for what I would like to do next week. Here you go. So the opening screen for the podcast audio listener says, "The court documents and sworn testimony you are about to see are publicly available from the U.S. Federal District Court of Northern California."
A Planned Parenthood doctor discusses getting money for tissue from aborted fetuses.
Secretly recorded, heavily edited videos to make outrageous claims.
2 Orange County medical companies are facing charges of selling fetal tissue illegally.
The tissue was donated from aborted fetuses through Planned Parenthood and other facilities.
Planned Parenthood is now under federal investigation by the Department of Justice for selling fetal body parts.
Critics say that it's unethical to use the material and that taxpayer money should not be used for research that relies on abortion.
Washington Post columnist Michael Dorson has pointed out that charging a fee for this material doesn't.
It's not a fee. It's not a fee. It's actually just the cost of transmitting this material.
When the videos were released, Planned Parenthood denied selling body parts. We thought they might do this, so before the video release, we emailed Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast an undercover contract for $750 per fetal liver, $1,600 for liver thymus pairs. Planned Parenthood told Congress they rebuffed the deal, and the New York Times reported Planned Parenthood's assurances that the affiliate declined. But now, we know that Planned Parenthood lied to Congress and to the media because of the documents and testimony of Tram Nguyen, Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast Abortion Center Director.
It's an email from Robert Sarkis to Melissa Farrell and company's youth and other people, dated June 30, 2015, and it attaches an agreement between Biomax and Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast. If you just turn to the last page of the document, it says that the fee to Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast for a fetal liver will be $750, and the fee for fetal liver and a thymus will be $1,600. This is the email chain between you and Doe 9012, who is the Regional Medical and Surgical Services Director, who we understand is Diane Santos. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Do you say, FYI, we're still trying to move forward with this? She responds to you and says, do you want to do this? You respond to her and say, yes, ma'am. Do you remember that exchange?
Not until yesterday.
So you wanted to move forward with the contract we just saw with those price terms?
Objection is characterized in the document.
mischaracterizing the testimony. Vague. I know I wanted to move forward with it.
Is there anything in writing that says that you didn't agree with the compensation?
Objection. Vague. No.
It's a federal crime to trade fetal tissue in exchange for valuable consideration. Valuable consideration means the benefits exchanged in a transaction, also called a quid pro quo, which means in Latin, one thing for that other thing. It's an intentionally broad term for any measurable exchange. The law means that if human fetal organs or tissue are being exchanged as the quid pro quo, or the pivot of value in a transaction, it is an illegal transfer of fetal tissue.
Wow. And that's just a clip. That's a clip of a video that CMP just put out with David Dalladin. And they have honestly been at the forefront of this fight. And that is the theme for next week. Planned Parenthood will, and their trafficking of human body parts, let's just say it, not fetal trafficking, fetal tissue trafficking. This is human body parts. And then we'll also take some more time to look at human trafficking. It'll be a heavy week next week, but we'll look at older videos that CMP has out, and it's out there for the public to use. But we'll go through, and it'll be a series. Okay, I mean, this could be part one as a trailer, if you will. But this is all to just help remind you and remind me really about what is actually going on and what. Truly, the greatest sin and the greatest stain on our nation is that of the millions of children that we have slaughtered and now are trafficking their body parts. And I feel so calloused saying that. And just, yeah, like that should be accompanied by some greater reaction. I don't know, something like projectile vomit, something like. And yet we talk about abortion every single day, and it just sounds like a clean term. Not a clean, but like it's a scientific medical term. No, it's murder. And we need to remember that, because some of these fetuses, these babies that are being pulled from the womb by Planned Parenthood are still alive. There's a great battle that we need to be fighting, and we're getting distracted with other things, with other social justice issues, when real justice has not come down on this land. So that's a preview at what I would like to do next week, and it might extend even further. We'll look at older videos. We'll look at newer footage surrounding this issue, surrounding the trafficking that Planned Parenthood is putting out there. You may not think it's a current event kind of, but it is happening currently, and it needs to be talked about. So I would like my platform to be able to talk about it. So if you're interested, please hop on board. Let me know. Multiple of you have mentioned how human trafficking is not talked about enough. I believe a couple of you mentioned that in the Life Given podcast conversation on Facebook. And like I said, for those of you who have any input that want to put anything into that group, whether it's advice, whether it's discussion, whether it's, hey, why don't you talk about this? It'll make it onto the show. And so here you go. We're going to start looking at human trafficking and start from the very, very beginning. So I hope you are on board for next week. And I look forward to talking with you then, because there is just so much to talk about on this issue. As always, remember that the life that you have been given and the life that you have received includes every area of life. Why should current events be the exception? God bless.